Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Ralph's Automotive. 2009. This is a Mazda CX9 Ford Explorer. What we're going to do, this is actually, long story short, warranty replacement, blah, blah, blah. What we're doing is taking the radiator out, putting the radiator in it. So, that being said, radiator replacement on this vehicle. So, pretty much a screw in the center here of the radiator, that's how you drain it. I just did that. You've got to have to get you a couple of plugs because you got 2 oil feeds. I guess I could show you that. Look at your new and your old, or look at your new, I should say, that way you know what to do on the old. This is a drain, right here. These, your 2 transmission line hookups. Of course, you know what this is, the big one. There's another one over here. There's another hose that goes over here. And there's also yet another hose that goes over here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 hoses in total. 1 top here, 1 here, 1 there. Alright, so that being said, this is the front of the or the back of the radiator. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is how the shroud, the fan shroud attaches to it. Sits like this. So now that we know that, I don't have to show you all of that. I can pause the camera up to keep this video short. But I am going to go underneath it here. And I will show you, since everybody always complains about it. Give me just a second. Let me give me a chance to put this back in. Let me get situated here. I've got to get 1 here, 1 there. Got to get my 2 tools. Got to get them out, get my cart out of the way. For the moment, get the camera in here. Get the camera up in there. Okay, what is a good angle? All right, let's see. Starting with that. So there's transmission. I'm sure I'm pointing right at it. There's 1 radiator hose hookup, another radiator hose hookup. Right there's the other transmission line. Right there's your main line. And then you got these 4 screws right there in the shroud. I hope you picked that up. So that is what I am going to work on right now. Sorry about the shaking there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to get all this straight. You're going to want to have something to catch your transmission fluid. I said it 100 times. I'll say it one more time. If you go on Amazon, you can order these little plugs like this for a little nothing. They don't cost much. And those are going to be perfect to put in the end of your hoses so you don't got fluid leaking out while you're doing the work. You are going to lose fluid, so you'll have to get you some transmission fluid either way. So I'm going to pause you up and I'm going to undo everything on the bottom side over here. Almost forgot, there's 2 10mm headed screws, bolts on the fan shroud itself that hold part of that transmission line. Almost forgot about that. One more thing, being that this is an older vehicle, I don't know exactly where all the clips are, but there is going to be a couple of clips on the, let's see, this is the one of the transmission lines that goes to the passenger side. It has 2 clips. They'll have to be undone from the shroud. There is 2 bolts up here in the 1 transmission line that has to be undone. And I think this may be it for the clips. I'm not 100% positive, like I said. There's more up top on the wires, but never mind that. So, to the best of my knowledge, this is everything that needs to be done, undone on the bottom. So if you made it this far without making a significant mess on the floor, you're already doing better than what I normally do. Because I normally just use oil dry or something like that and get the mess up. Actually, I only got a couple of drips this time, so I'm doing really good for what it normally is for me, so not that I care, but anyway. I'll pause you up, going down. Okay, I'm going to give you this rundown. There's a clip over here in your airbox. This is the mass airflow. Gets undone. Undo this. Undo this one, you don't have to. I take this one loose. I take this one and this one. And get that loose. That's your air intake stuff. We can undo the clamp. And it happens to be on this Ford, or well, Mazda Ford, same difference. It happens to be, those are all 10 millimeter. So it's basically this one, the housing. Let me go ahead and get me an extension, make it a little bit easier, make life a little bit easier. This is the bracket for it. Hard-headed if it slips in. Of course, I'm not in a good position here. All right, trying not to get in the camera too much. Just pull out on that. All right, so moving on to this, we'll have to get this connector, 10 mil. Now there's going to be some more wire clips and all that good stuff. So make sure you get all of them off. They're a pain in the neck if you don't. So hoses on top. I got this hose here for the overflow tank. You've already undid the bigger hose on the overflow tank. You already undid that. Actually, we're moving the whole entire fitting here. I think that's what I did last time. Of course, this one is a little bit easier because I just did it. I don't have to fight the hoses nearly as much. Well, that's that one right there. Get that out of the way, and of course, there's some wire clips here. We'll have to get them undone. You may have some fatalities. Came out okay. That one came out okay. That one came out okay. Fatality. We'll have one fatality there. I was sort of kind of expecting that. As why they designed it like that, I don't know for the life of me. It could have been designed a lot easier. Let me bring you around again. I'm on the tripod, so some of these things are hard to do or hard to film. This is what we're looking at. We're unplugging this one right here. For the fan control module, unplug that one. That right there cannot be, you can't move it. It has to stay in there. You just have to move bits and pieces out of the way. So I'm not going to show you that port because, well, like I said, because it's on the tripod. And I don't think it needs to be shown. I think that's something that you can very easily figure out on your own. The top hose over here. There's another bracket. Here's another one. Oh, that came out. That came out. Actually, that one on top is broken, I think. We'll get this undone. We'll get the big hose on top. Get that undone. Just a FYI. This is all this is a broad nose pair of pliers. I've been using them more than anything else. I've got all kinds of different pliers that are supposed to be for removing these hose clamps, and I come to find out that broad nose right there is becoming my favorite. You want to get the module unplugged and also the little plug on the side that I showed you a while ago. So that'll get that harness loosened up. We'll have to lift over the top of it, so don't be discouraged just yet. This thing is extremely brittle. Just as a FYI, everything on here is brittle, dry rotted. The original problem with the radiator was the fact that it is brittle and dry rotted. It broke, everything broke. 4 screws on top. For purposes of getting this job done, I'm going to go ahead and switch to the power tools. We'll lift this wire over the top here, get it out of the way. I think we can pull straight up on this. It should come right on out of there, and it does. I'm going to set it up here, and I think our radiator is completely undone. Here's a little fun fact for you. That's going to be a real fun fact. So, and make sure you see this really good. Okay, these right here. All right, so there's a little notch back here. We'll push back on it like that. It's right there. There's a piece of rubber, like so. That's it. That's what loosens it up. We'll do the same thing on the back side. Same old rubber piece. Same old rubber piece comes out of it. And again, because of this one stupid wire that the engineers deemed needed to be there, you can't get it undone unless you're cutting it. I wouldn't suggest that. It's network wire. You have to get the harness to the back and pull your rad out. A little fun fact is, how in the world this thing broke, I don't never know, because there is no strain or anything like that on that. I showed you, but the radiator is in fact broken right here. When I pressure tested it, the lady was telling me that she's losing antifreeze, and when I checked it, right there is where it's bubbling. Well, it's wet. You can see it. So. Another thing is, this radiator has got different fittings than the one that I got now. Slightly different fittings. Plus, the one that I got to replace it with has rubber pads that sit there, which this one also doesn't have. Get. You're not getting into the radiator. No. So, pause you up for a minute, because as you can see, I made a little bit of a mess, and we'll clean it up right away. So, I do get comments every now and then to not complete the job. This is the crucial part. Take your time. Take it nice and slow, Fred. Find the home that it needs to go into. We'll reverse the direction on the wire, or we'll reverse what we just did a while ago. No force necessary, well, none of it. Okay, so easy does it here. Careful with this stupid thing. I mean, got a lot of metal here that can get into the coolant fins. You're going to touch them. It's going to be almost impossible to not touch them. So, whatever. Don't wind yourself up. It doesn't hurt your radiator. Get these Deweys here. So, that was the point a while ago that I was actually trying to make. It is nearly impossible for anybody to break this out the box. There's no way. I mean, this is literally how easy this is to put back together. I think there was either it was a manufacturing defect, or the box has been dropped and I didn't catch it. One of the two. Continue on. Shroud, same way. Take your time with it. This one, you're going to have to kind of sneak it in partial. So we'll get this good and out of the way. Now we can finish our job. So here is part of past experience with it. I know, I just go ahead and say it. This will be the time where we're going to leave this alone, because on the bottom there's a shoulder that shroud sits on, and you're going to have a hard time getting the bolts in if this is misaligned. It's much easier to do that right now. We'll start these bolts and go on the bottom and finish everything off. But like I said, we're only going to start these bolts. We are not going to tighten them down. All we're after is a couple of threads. That's it. So pause you back up and we'll go underneath. I can tell you this, for those of you that wonder about the whole lift situation, whether you're doing that job on a lift or not, time-wise, it's really almost about the same. There's not that much different. That job is going to take you about a couple of hours to complete. I also get asked that, so there you go. That's all the information. The shroud wasn't sitting properly up into the radiator like it was supposed to, so that's why I told you I'll leave it loose. It's much easier to do this with everything being loose. So, well, nearly impossible to do it if you tighten the top up. So, anyway. Yep, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to leave the camera rolling. I know one or the other way. Somebody's got something to say, but I don't care. It's okay. Whew, right on my head. I wanted to do this in reverse, just in case some people don't know how to reverse on their own. So here you go. Remember, plastic, you can't muscle it. The goal is to get them just tight enough where they don't fall out. And no need in muscling anything. Some people have a crying fit when you put hose clamps in a different place. Well, let me tell you, don't make a bean of difference. Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and show it to you, that way you see it. This is the transmission line. See that? 1, 2. Well, that actually bolts up there to the shroud. So I cannot show you that part any better than what I just did. So it folds up here because I just unfolded it a while ago. It seems like every time I do this, I reverse it the wrong way. You put this one on first, I do believe. Like I said, every time I do this, I do it quite opposite. But anyway, I think this is the way to do it. This one here goes on first, and then the big one. That way, you're not getting them messed up. But yeah, you got one. I'm gonna have to let this down. It's actually a notch too high. I'm tippy-toeing here. So there's these two bolts right here. We're going to put them on and go ahead and get that tightened back up. Once again, let me get the light. There's one right there, one right there. This line right here is the other one, and there is two plastic clips that'll have to be clipped in right there where them two holes are. So that's as good as it's going to get, guys. Girls, whatever. We got some ladies here too, so if I was smart, I'd grab a power tool, but I'm not that smart. Holy moly. Little quick tip. I've seen this done actually quite a few times. If you losing a bolt and you got to replace a bolt on these radiators, lots of times if the bolt is too long, it'll damage your housing. You get a bolt that's too long, it'll penetrate the plastic and then it'll crack the plastic, and well, you know the rest of the story. You're going to have one heck of a leak. So bear this in mind when we're replacing bolts, or if you have long and short bolts. Sorry about that. If you have long and short bolts, make sure that your bolts go back where they came from. Now, this is the other line right here, moving right back on it. So it clips in up here. There is one, and there is the other. Oh, we'll clip that back into its place. Now, let's see if I just made a mistake. No, I did not. Tried to get my rubber plug back out of here, or silicone plug to be correct. Let me get the ratchet out of my hand. Grab my pliers, might make it easier. There will be more oil in it now, so we're going to do a hopefully real quick lickety split and put it back on. And this thing is so freaking slick, I still ain't got it out of there. Yep, there more oil came out of it. That's exactly what I was advertising. They drain out and you think you're good to go. When you're putting them back on, you take the plug out and voila, there is another half a gallon seemingly that rolls out of it. So put the clamp back on. For those of you that cry about putting clamps in the same place, well, I guess you have to figure out how to get it back in the very same place. Me, on the other hand, I clip them on there and never had a problem, but what do I know? So we got this one connected. We can go ahead and take our large hose and get it pushed up here. Get it connected. Sorry about that, dog walked in. Anyway, the large hose is connected. Moving on to the smaller hose. We'll go ahead and put this on first. Doesn't matter. We just go ahead, while we're over here and had it in our hands, we're going to go ahead and put that on. Grab this clamp at an angle, put the clamp back on. Same thing here. We're going to fight our little silicone piece so we can get the transmission line, the cooler line back in here. Yes, we are going to fight you. We already knew that. That's quite all right. Man, this thing is slick as snot. That was my finger. Again, see, you cannot pull these plugs and expect the hoses to be empty. They're going to leak out, so be prepared for that. You're going to leak more transmission fluid. This transmission here, predicting that it's going to go out very soon. The fluid is beyond black, and the lady did tell me when we was talking the other day, she did actually tell me that every now and then her transmission is acting up. I said, well, I don't know what to tell you, but I would be prepared to do a little bit of transmission work here coming up. So she is aware of the problem. This is an extremely difficult thing to get on. Now, one of them is a booger. And none of these clamps are real hard to get, but this one here is a booger because they use a split clamp, and that's a lot of the reason why I use these broad pliers. I don't know why they do this that way, but It is aggravating, guys. I mean, when you have these little bitty tiny tabs on these clamps and they just don't go. I mean, can't hardly hold on to it. If you get these pliers, there's one mistake that I made. These have no serrations in the very front of them, and that is part of the problem. If there is some of them that's got the grooves and diamond serrations in the front, that is the ones you want if you're going to get this type of plier. So anyway, once again, we've got a hose in the corner here, in the very corner. We got a transmission line hooked up on this side. We got the center hose hooked up. We'll make sure that the drain plug is in. We got the other transmission line, and we got our main hose, the large hose. We got it. Yeah, I did pull a clip just now. I'll have to re-clip it. Ugh. I just did that. I guess I should have left that loose. Okay, so that clip is back in. Our bolts are tight. Everything is done on the bottom side. I did what I was going to do here to show you the whole entire process, and that is basically a one-to-one since I did not pause the camera. I will, however, pause the camera right now. Okay, back top side. Very careful with these power tools. For the love of God, be careful. Don't over tighten. The plastic will break. So we're going to work on this wiring issue first. Get some of these plugs and the connectors hooked back in. Well, it's easy enough to do. You don't need me to show that. We've got mass airflow wire. Don't get that mixed up. So these are in the grooves here, and the groove over here, back in this harness. This is resting here. Clip the back in. Like I said, this thing's got a million clips on it, so kind of be prepared for that one. If you got complaints about what I'm showing today, I can only tell you, please, for the love of God, go find another channel to watch. Because I've done about as good a video today than what I could have possibly done. I forgot the hose. I have to get this clip back out of here. Kind of move that underneath there. Get this over here. I did forget the lower hose, so got to get this back in. Put it back in the clips. Put the clips back in. Put this back in clips. Oh my God, I can't talk. One more clamp. Very nice. Air cleaner. I don't feel like muscling that. Yeah, I just did that. This is penetrating grease is what that was. And I actually sprayed some on the shift linkage as well while I was down there. Nozzle over here, make sure that it goes in the right place. And yeah, that when you put, put grease on it, it'll fall in place. It literally fall in place. 2 bolts. Bolt here. Lubricate that baby. Slip that one back on. 2 clips. 1 boot. Come on. What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me here? Damn car. Come on now. Be nice. Alright, finally, that mass airflow, it's got one little dewey that goes in your airbox. Connect it back up, plug it back in, push the lock tab in, don't forget to tighten your boot. See that all too many times, people forget to tighten the boot. It is rubber, gotta keep that in mind. So, one more connector to clip in. This connector here is blank. So, anyway, secure it, secure it, secure it. Plugged in. Got one more cable, one more hose to go, not a cable, hose. Let me have the light over here. Maybe it'll stay. Yeah, it'll be fine. For your overflow tank, get it connected. Okay, to show you that. That's what the clamp on the transmission line looks like. I don't like them things. All the other clamps, they got the solid top. And what I meant by that earlier, you've got serration. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but you got grooves in part of that, but there's no serrations on the top. I used to have a pair that had serrations on the top side, and those would work. They would work perfect. As long as it's something you can get to, these don't work bad. But if it's in a spot where it's slipping, it's no good. Ta-da! I'll give you the full version of it. I wish they made an adapter for this and make this part here easier. There's actually, I don't know if it's the snap-on version or whatever it is, but there's one of them that has adapters with it. And you can adapt them over yourself if that's what you want to do. You can do that as well. I'm gonna lay. This was a clean bucket, by the way, before anybody has a fit. And there's no dirt or debris that fell into it, so. Suck it up, buttercup. I love the kit. It's an airlift. Had them for a long time. I've used that in many videos. I got a complaint. Airlift. If you ever come across my video, this is horse crap. This hose. Silicone hose. Soft silicone. It doesn't do this. This is two-man operation, not one man. The system is designed to be perfect, and here we got content with something that I'm gonna have to have 2 people for now. Now this is hard to hold in as is. You can't go full beans on these vehicles here. I can tell you that. Be very careful. If you use this system, you cannot go full beans on putting it in there. You got to give it time to flow in. I didn't lose any antifreeze. Right there, the reservoir, that overflow is filling up rapidly. You got to give it time to go back down on these vehicles. It's just the type of cooling system it is. Go ahead, while this settles, I'm going to shut this off. Maybe I quit yelling into the camera. Some of the fellow techs, they say it is better on these to actually run the vehicle. I think it's fine either way. I'm going to top it off with a little bit more antifreeze here in just a little bit. I'll give it just a little bit of flow of water. I want to clean my hose out. That gets my hose cleaned out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Radiator replacement. That's the long and the short of it. I'm not going to bore you with me heating it up and getting it topped off. Obviously, I got to do that. But anyway, that's how you do it. Comments, like, subscribe. Do what it is you do. And hopefully we'll see you quickly on the next one. Wow, I'm hitting everything now. So, peace. A little bit of quick tip. Just remembered 2 ways of doing an alternator on these vehicles. One of them is to loosen the engine mounts, kick the engine over. That's one way of doing it. The other one is to remove the fan shroud. So, if you ever change the alternator on your vehicle like this, you can take the fan shroud out, just the way I showed you, and you'll have room to get the alternator out.